The world stood on the edge of chaos. In every palace from Mycenae to Pylos, rumors swirled like storm clouds of omens, betrayals, and a war that would shake the pillars of the earth. For generations, the kings of Greece had eyed the rich coasts of Asia Minor, coveting the legendary city that guarded the entrance to the unknown east, Troy. But it would take more than ambition to ignite the greatest conflict of the ancient world. It would take a spark born of myth, desire, and a curse as old as the gods themselves. Picture the Mycenaean world at its height. The kings and lords, resplendent in bronze and gold, gather in smoky halls beneath frescoes that tell of heroes and monsters. Every alliance is sealed with feasting, every peace undercut by suspicion. Messengers race across the land with news of shifting loyalties, strange portents, and whispers of a beauty whose fate would doom empires. Among the treasures of the palaces, golden goblets, lapis beads, and sword with lion-headed pommels, there is something more dangerous: prophecy. The tale begins with a party like no other, a gathering of gods on the slopes of Mount Olympus. Discord, ever hungry for chaos, casts a golden apple marked for the fairest among the goddesses. Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite each claim it, demanding judgment. The mortal chosen for this impossible decision is Paris, Prince of Troy. Each goddess offers him a reward: power, wisdom, or love. Paris, swayed by Aphrodite's promise of the world's most beautiful woman, chooses love. That woman is Helen, Queen of Sparta. From that moment, fate is sealed. The abduction, or elopement, of Helen by Paris is more than a romantic scandal. It is the trigger for a war foretold by seers and feared by kings. Across Greece, the old oaths are invoked. Every lord who once courted Helen swore to defend her marriage, binding the greatest heroes to a single cause. Agamemnon, king of Mycenae, sees his chance to lead, driven by ambition and shadowed by the curse of his house. The omens are dire. On the night the fleet is to sail, the winds refuse to blow. The priestess Calchas declares that the goddess Artemis is angered, demanding a terrible price. Agamemnon, desperate for glory, makes a decision that will haunt Greece for generations. He sacrifices his own daughter, Iphigenia, to appease the goddess. The winds rise, and the armada at last sets sail. 1,000 black ships, banners streaming, warriors chanting the names of their ancestors. The journey is fraught with peril. Storms scatter the fleet, and some ships vanish forever. On remote islands, the Greeks encounter strange peoples and ancient monsters, each battle a test of courage and cunning. The gods themselves watch and meddle, sending dreams, disguises, and disasters. Among the warriors, legends are already being born. Achilles, peerless in battle, yet doomed by fate. Odysseus, the cunning trickster. Ajax, a giant among men. And Nestor, the wise old king who remembers wars long past. As the shores of Troy come into view, the tension is electric. The city's walls, said to be built by Poseidon himself, rise higher than any in Greece. Archers and charioteers patrol the ramparts, and the Trojans, led by noble Hector, Paris, and the aged King Priam, prepare for siege. The Greeks land in force, clashing with the defenders in a storm of arrows and bronze. But the first confrontations are not just tests of strength. They are battles of will, of pride, and of destiny. Duels erupt between champions, watched by armies, and, it is said, by the gods themselves, who descend in disguise to influence the tide of war. Myths swirl around every event. A spear that cannot miss, a shield blessed by Hephaestus, a dream sent by Zeus that nearly dooms the Greeks. Inside the Greek camp, tensions simmer. Agamemnon and Achilles, both larger than life, clash over honor and spoils, their feud threatening to unravel the whole expedition. The oracles warn of doom should the best of the Greeks withdraw, but pride and rage blind even the greatest. At night, fires burn along the shore, and the warriors tell tales of the gods, of omens seen in the stars, and of the prophecy that only with the help of Achilles can Troy ever fall. Meanwhile, in Troy, the city braces for a siege that will last for years. The people pray to their gods, make offerings at ancient altars, and whisper that the war is more than mortal. It is a judgment from Olympus, the end of an age. Hecuba, queen of Troy, dreams of fire and destruction. Priam seeks counsel from seers and priests, desperate to find a path that can save his city or at least his dynasty. As the war stretches on, the boundaries between myth and history blur. The siege is marked by endless duels, cunning raids, and strange portents. Blood rain, phantom armies, and the sudden appearance of heroes said to be children of gods. Every loss, every victory, is interpreted as a sign from above. The world watches in awe and terror as the greatest assembly of warriors ever seen lays siege to the city that stands between east and west. In the shadow of Troy's walls, legends are forged, feats of bravery and treachery, love and vengeance, death and prophecy. The poets say that even the stones weep for what is to come. As the gods take sides and fate tightens its grip, the Greeks and Trojans find themselves actors in a drama older and greater than any king. The war to come will not only decide the fate of Troy, but will echo through the centuries, shaping myth, memory, and the very soul of civilization. And so the stage is set. The greatest war of the ancient world is about to begin. Not just a struggle for a stolen queen, but a battle for the future of gods and mortals alike. In the next part, we will witness the opening battles, the rise of heroes, and the first great tragedies of the Trojan War, a conflict where every sword stroke may be the fulfillment of a curse, and every victory a step closer to doom. Stay with us as we descend into the heart of myth and war. The clash of swords and the thunder of chariots reverberate across the plain of Troy. Dust rises, banners snap in the wind, and the fate of empires is etched in blood and bronze. The war has begun, not as a single battle, but as a siege of years, a conflict destined to become the stuff of legend. From the very first dawn, the Greeks and Trojans test one another's strength and resolve. Skirmishes erupt outside the city gates, and the plain is stained with the blood of champions. At the front, Achilles, swiftest of all warriors, son of Thetis the sea goddess, rages into battle, his armor gleaming like fire. With every stroke, he carves his name into history. Yet even he cannot escape the shadow of fate. On the Trojan side, Hector stands as the city's greatest hope. Noble, loyal, and courageous, he is both prince and protector, the shield of Troy. His duels with the Greeks are sung by bards for generations. Hector against Ajax, the towering giant. Hector outmaneuvering the wily Odysseus. Hector leading sorties that push the invaders back to their ships. Yet, in his heart, Hector knows that prophecy is a double-edged sword. The oracles have warned him. Troy will fall, but his name will never die. Every night, the Greeks light watch fires along the shore. In the flickering glow, they tell stories of home, of gods who walk unseen among men, and of the omens that haunt their dreams. Some claim to have seen Athena herself in the midst of battle, or Apollo guiding Trojan arrows. The gods are not mere spectators. They are players in this drama, siding with mortals and unleashing tempests, plagues, and madness as the war grinds on. Tensions within the Greek camp reach a boiling point. Agamemnon, hungry for power, seizes Briseis, the prize of Achilles, sparking a deadly feud. Achilles, enraged, withdraws from battle, and the morale of the Greeks crumbles. Without their greatest champion, the tide turns. The Trojans surge from their gates, burning Greek ships and threatening to drive the invaders into the sea. Only the intervention of the gods and the desperate courage of lesser heroes stave off disaster. As the siege drags on, both sides resort to every weapon, physical and supernatural, at their disposal. The Greeks consult soothsayers, conduct secret sacrifices, and attempt cunning night raids. The Trojans, desperate for hope, make offerings to their ancestral gods and seek new alliances. Spies cross the lines beneath moonless skies, bringing secrets and falsehoods. The war is not just a struggle of armies, but of destiny itself. Dreams are sent by Zeus to mislead or inspire. Omens appear in the flight of birds and the pattern of entrails. The old prophecies are recited in hushed tones, only with the bow of Heracles, only with the bones of Pelops, only when the best of the Greeks returns to battle will Troy fall. Each sign becomes a puzzle, each vision a challenge to be deciphered. Among the Greeks, new legends are born. Diomedes, inspired by Athena, wounds even the gods on the battlefield. Ajax, the bulwark, stands unyielding before the Trojan onslaught. Odysseus, ever cunning, devises stratagems to bypass the city's defenses, though none yet succeed. The Greeks build ramparts of their own, creating a city of tents and fortifications as the siege stretches from months to years. Inside Troy, the mood is grim yet defiant. The people pray, feast, and mourn in equal measure. Priam, age king of Troy, seeks wisdom in the stars and the past. Priests urge greater sacrifices, and women weave funeral shrouds for heroes still alive. Cassandra, cursed prophetess, warns of disaster, but her words are dismissed as madness. Even Paris, whose desire for Helen sparked the war, grapples with guilt and the burden of prophecy. Both sides suffer losses that shake their resolve. Friends, brothers, sons, none are spared by the relentless grind of war. The poets later whisper of Patroclus, beloved companion of Achilles, who dons his friend's armor to rally the Greeks, and whose death will unleash a storm of vengeance. Each death is marked by ritual, armor stripped, bodies burned or entombed, and laments raised to the indifferent gods. Amid the carnage, moments of strange beauty arise. Truces allow the opposing armies to gather their dead. Enemies share silent nods of respect across the field. At night, the stars above Troy seem to burn brighter, as if the heavens themselves bear witness to the drama below. As the years pass, the war hardens all who endure it. Heroes grow weary, kings age, and the gods themselves seem to falter in their attention. Yet, the fate of Troy and Greece remains unresolved. Plots thicken, betrayals multiply, and a sense of doom hangs over the camps. In the final scenes of this act, a sense of inevitability settles over the plain. Achilles, still distant and wrathful, is haunted by visions of his own death and glory. Agamemnon, beset by doubts, seeks ever more desperate means to ensure victory. Hector, the defender, dreams of fire consuming his city but steels himself to fight on. It is a war not just of men, but of myths, a place where every blade may be a gift or a curse, where every night brings new omens, and where every heart is tested by the shadow of destiny. As the second part draws to its close, the audience is left with questions. Who will break first? The besiegers or the besieged? Will prophecy be fulfilled, or can fate still be defied? What secrets and betrayals lie ahead as the war slides toward its tragic climax? In the next video, we will witness the greatest duels, the wrath of Achilles, the fall of heroes, and the fateful intrigues that will doom Troy. The fires of legend burn ever brighter, and the world will never be the same. Stay with us as the siege intensifies and the boundary between mortal and immortal grows thin. The heart of the Trojan War is yet to be revealed.